All right. Thank you all for joining. This is a discussion all about ESG. Today, we have two amazing partners that are going to talk about their solutions, talk about what's going on in this world, and basically get to the dirt of what's going on in this. I'll let them introduce themselves. I'm Elizabeth Nelson. I'm one of the co-founders of the Smart Building Collective. I'm also a researcher and a writer, and I like to kind of see what's going on. So I'm really excited to ask some important questions to these brilliant young men. All right, Raymond, do you want to go first?
Sure, all good. Well, my name is Raymond, Sales Director Western Europe at Smartvatten. We at Smartvatten, we are all about water efficiency in general. So we really like to take our clients and actually all our prospects and people we talk to really understand water. There's so many players out there who focus on electricity and gas alone that we think like, hey, water is something valuable as well. Even though not as expensive, it is really scarce. So we need to be very, very easy on it, to be fair. There's not a lot of drinking water. There's a lot of water, but not so much we can drink. So we're all about that. Our goal is to actually make all property owners in the world be more water efficient. So we have our solutions. Plainly, and most basic one is to monitor water consumption. And using that data, you can already come quite far in your strategy. And in the end, we use it to detect leaks, to create a water efficiency strategy together, to see if the installations are up to date, and also to see if maybe maintenance should be improved. In the end, for us, it's all about making sure that ESG goals are met. And obviously, we need partners in that. We cannot win the war on our own. So therefore, we partnered up with Smart Building Collective, and most recently, we partnered up with Jan of Spectral Energy. So that's really also part of our game, to really share the data with the people that need it most. And if our client is working with Spectral Energy and they want our data in that platform, we'll all be serving that data there. All good.
Great. Jan, you want to follow that up?
Yes, I will. Jan van Ardenne. I'm working for Spectral. I'm responsible for Brighter. Brighter is our platform for the real estate market, where we gather data from all kinds of data providers like Smartvatten. We give the insights of the data, so it's all in one system. And we can integrate locally with BMSs, building management systems of building, and then actually take over control. So you don't only get insights in the savings potential, but our dynamic control module actually optimizes the building in this way, also saves a lot of energy. Brighter is part of Spectral. Spectral is a whole ecosystem with several solutions, all speeding up, supporting the energy transition, basically. So Spectra as a whole, 75 people, and Brighter, the platform, is 25 people. So in short.
Nice. I love that. So I'm getting ahead of myself and jumping in, but can we go back and talk about, and just for everybody's knowledge, can you guys break down, maybe Raymond first, what is ESG?
Break down ESG. How long do you have?
Yeah.
No, I think for us, I mean, it says it, right? Environmental, social, and governance. So looking at those three aspects, let me break it down from Smartvatten's perspective. We're all about doing good for the environment. So since water is scarce, we really want to look into that, making sure that there will be plenty of water still to come for future generations. But you can, of course, look at it from a perspective like, okay, let's create new ways of creating water, or having it drinkable or whatever. Quite expensive processes, but how about we just go back first and say, hey, we have drinking water, but we are spilling, let's say, 20 to 30% each of us. So that's where environmental and I think also social is a bit coming into play, because I think socially we're quite used to having drinking water come from the tap, but already in third world countries, but not even just third world. Let's look at Spain or Italy. During summer, I guess this summer even already, they will have problems getting water from the tap, like as it is for us, so common. So socially, we should maybe also in the Nordic countries or Western European countries, we should save more in order for them to have it to begin with. And then, of course, governance. Yeah, there needs to be some rules and regulations surrounding this topic. I mean, everyone really knows that it's scarce, but it's too far away. Like it's not for us, they say. And even though many companies say they want to be sustainable on this and really have a strategy for it, sometimes we do get pushed or postponed because of, let's say, electricity bills or gas bills, which is, of course, more expensive, but maybe not more a priority. I think they're equally important. So therefore, I think for me, in short, that's what ESG is all about, that we look after each other, but also come up with strategies that don't only touch upon money.
Nice. Jan, do you have a follow-up for that?
Yeah, I can only totally agree. And that's like, it's all about don't waste anything. And it's water, it's energy. And in the case of energy, make sure if you use energy that it's renewables as much as possible, where technology also comes in place. But we're wasting a lot of resources, and that's a pity. And yeah, often indeed, water is too cheap. We always say so. That's I say it. I think Smartvatten will be crossed off the list first, because water is so cheap. But even with energy, it's still even with the high prices we had, because it's getting better again, energy prices. But even then, it's like still often balancing the money part, and that time should be over because it's going the wrong way. So we must invest more in environmental, and social governance, of course. Yeah.
And then both of you touched on kind of regulation and having to do more, but where are we with regulation in terms of ESG?
I think it's getting better, especially Europe is doing a lot. I think Europe is being a frontier with all kinds of regulations. But, and this is my personal opinion, I think often we're regulations is towards certificates. Basically, you take a moment in time, you get a stamp, and that's it. And we should go way more towards constant monitoring the actual performance of buildings or whatever. Again, we have solutions that can see the constant performance of buildings, and that's what it's all about. Because having a moment every 4 or 10 years to say like, hey, we're sustainable, that doesn't work. It's about the performance.
I think I totally agree. Again, I think we're already on one page here, but like if you look at regulations right now, I don't know, plenty of viewers will be Dutch, so they will understand that in the Netherlands, you need to upgrade your energy certificate to level C minimum. And if that is out of the cards, it's not possible, then instead of doing it, they will transform the building into something else. So they no longer need it to do, right? So having regulations is one thing, but then is it going to work on the long run? And that's what I think is really important here. And as Jan said, Europe is a front runner on this, but Europe's also really the smallest continent in the world. So if the other continents are not willing to put their piece of coin in the bag, then we can do what we want, but it won't do as much as when we all work together. And that's when I'm back to working together. I think having partners in crime, let's say, it works better. Like Smartvatten wouldn't have grown this much if it weren't for our partners and our clients. So yeah, only thing I would say, is this in Europe, we're doing right things, but instead of just having regulations, we should also create some common sense and a better mindset regarding sustainability. Because sustainability is also one of those topics, right? You either do it for the sake of sustainability or for the sake of a stamp.
Yeah,
Well,
indeed.
yeah, and it almost feels like we're in this kind of weird place right now where we have the ability to, like you said, collect data, to know what's going on in our buildings, to know what's going on in our behavior, improve them, optimize them. We have these initiatives for ESG. It feels like we're almost in this maybe kind of exciting place almost, but it's almost like, where are we right now? Where are we with this within smart buildings, within someone else described it as the longest sneeze ever.
I have a fun example here, because there are a few people that want to work with Smartvatten and then say, you know what, I'll just have you monitor it for a year, get all the leaks out, and then I'm done. And luckily, during that 1 year, they see the benefits of doing a constant monitoring. And of course, there's more than just gathering leak detection and data. It's all about water efficiency strategy in the long run. So they will see the benefits, but hearing that, like in an initial first conversation, is always like, so, I don't know. I'm almost feeling misunderstood at that point. Like, no, that's not the reason why I'm here. I'm not here to see you become a client for 1 year and then leave again. That's not my purpose. I really want to help you out. And I think that part, and maybe everyone who's joining now feels the same, like we all want to help out, but then, yeah, you should also let someone in. And that's probably the hardest part for most corporate guys and women, not just guys, but companies, to let other people in. And I know for Jan it's the same. He has his expertise, I have mine, and combined we actually have something forceful. So yeah, why not work together?
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, and to get back at your question, where are we? I think we're at the tipping point that more and more people realize that we actually have to do something, and that it's not about crossing the boxes for reporting every year, that we actually have to take actions. And they're also seeing like, okay, I have a report how my portfolio is performing, but seeing it as a starting point to actually make improvements instead of crossing the box with getting Smartvatten in or getting us in. Like, it's a starting point. We can help you. We can give you insights. We can help you save. And it should be an iterative process with constant improvement. And I have the feeling, but maybe I'm very optimistic or want to be optimistic, that there's a mind change that people see like, okay, we have to take action. We want to improve, and it's not about that certificate or that report that we have to provide once every year or whatever. So I'm being optimistic.
I think what does help in this case is that I think Jan is also very active on LinkedIn, and so is Spectral, and so is Smartvatten. And I remember last year around this time, we warned about the summer to come, that it was going to be very dry. It turned out to be very dry. And we also said that if we wouldn't do anything about it, we wouldn't start saving water, then at some point the water would become more expensive because, well, there's lack of it. And now seeing the first news items of this week saying that some water companies actually are increasing their prices because they had a loss, well, that is only rooting for us in a way. Like, we've kind of predicted this last year, so it shows that we're an expert in the field of water, and we're trying to continue this road, that we will warn them, and more people will start to say, hey, these guys were right before, let's have a talk with them. And well, you can see even the bigger guys are now coming in and saying, hey, I saw this article, saw this newspaper, saw this white paper together with Spectral, really curious about what it's all about. So I think in general, that's where we are. We are on the verge that people start to realize something needs to happen. They're not sure what needs to happen, but they're willing to take the conversation. And I think that's the starting point.
Definitely.
That's a great note. So we will be posting this video with the link to the white paper. We're going to go into more discussion now. And I wanted to ask Jan for a follow-up on what Raymond said about kind of the raising energy prices. Is it, because we know energy prices went up quite a bit in the last year. Water prices are now going up. Is this a necessary pain point? Is this something just to get certain corporates or certain partners on there? Is this necessary, or is this just an example, or what's going on?
Yeah, it's difficult. Is it necessary? Because you saw when the energy prices went up, you saw more traction with people like looking for solutions to save on energy. So it's definitely a trigger. So it helps. Let's say it that way. But in the end, I do think it's needed to have different regulation, basically, and if possible, a positive regulation that, people that are companies that are working sustainable, basically get benefits, and people that don't want to be sustainable or don't take action get fined, basically. I think that will be the best thing, because if you saw the effect of the high energy prices, it's not per se positive for sustainability, but a lot of people got into trouble, and that's what I dislike about it. And of course, there was a total market disruption. I do think better, simpler regulations are needed to further speed up basically the transition to sustainability.
Well, and maybe that's why ESG is such a great initiative in and of itself, because when the energy prices went up, I saw solar panels going up everywhere, right? But you also had people who couldn't afford their energy costs, and certainly couldn't afford to put in solar panels to help cover their energy costs down the line. So let's talk about the white paper and your partnership together. And I love the white paper. I really recommend. It's very easy to read. It's very easy to find different parts that are especially interesting to you. What made you guys do this together?
Yeah, it was kind of, I don't know, logic, because I think already there's been a strong connection for several years. At my previous job, I actually already worked with Smartvatten. I think I like to say that was then the biggest deal Smartvatten made in the Netherlands, but I'm not entirely sure. Raymond probably knows better. But we have a lot of joint clients, basically. Most of them are front runners in this domain. They really want to improve their portfolio. So it was kind of logic, as we also have data exchange for our clients to do this. And I think even Smartvatten reached out like, hey, do you guys want to do a joint paper? Yes, of course. Great idea. So as a cherry on top of the cake of our good cooperation together.
Yeah, I can only agree on this. It usually goes that way. Like, we only do water, and then we get the question like, do you also do gas or electricity or solar panels or charging for cars? And no, we just do water. And then, well, do you know people that can help us with that? And then, of course, we have Spectral Energy as their platform, being one of those companies that we push forward. Like, hey, talk to Jan, and then you can see if that product fits your needs. And as soon as that happens, we are more than happy to have our water data in that platform. So you still only work in one platform. In a way, that's usually how the conversation starts from a client perspective. From a partnership perspective, I would say that we add some value to their platform, but at the same time, having this partnership also enforces our position in the market, because of course having these partnerships, making sure that once Jan has a new client, he also informs them like, hey, we can also monitor your water through Smartvatten. That works as well. And think in at the same time, coming from that partnership, well, monitoring water remains important, but I think energy is a large portion of it. I mean, if hot water is leaking, that there's also gas or electricity involved. So I think that connection is already reason enough to work together. And then, of course, the seeing happy clients is what we all do it for, right? Like I said at the beginning, we cannot win this war alone. So we need partners. And of course, for us, it's all about serving the market. And if the market requires us to work together with people like Jan, because that's what they want, then we will try and serve what they want.
I love that. And I feel like that's such the energy of the collective. I think sometimes there's this idea that smart building solutions are all competing against each other and all trying to go for the job. But actually, there's some really amazing relationships that come out of it, and really good advice that you get from buildings that have worked with certain people, and just being some of the front runners in this industry, working together, recommending other people, recommending other solutions that can be the right thing. So I absolutely love that.
I truly have to say, just one thing to add is that Jan brought it up, that we reached out for this white paper. It's also how we work in essence. Like, if we're happy with a partnership, then why not let the world know? And same thing goes for clients. We do have so many client case studies and videos about success stories, but also about experiences, and also about just starting work together, starting these collaborations, like press releases. That's also so much value to the world, and also to the whole real estate sector, in a way that you can give a bit more insight in, hey, they're working with these guys. What's the plan behind it? And I think this white paper worked out great, because you can really see the added value that Spectral brings on its own, what we bring on our own, and at the same time what the combined effort makes. And yeah, really happy with it.
Nice. Jan, do you want to talk about any of your favorite parts of the white paper, or some of the things, what people can expect to get out of it, to understand after that?
What I like, it's very easy to read. You already mentioned it, because I think in the end we have quite a complex product, and it came out very well. And what I really like about this, the emphasis, and that's I already mentioned it. Like, it's really about the actual performance that we can help with, and that came out really well. And the value of real estate and performance, it's now often based on that one-time certificate, or that once every 10 years or every 4 years. And with the solutions we provide, we bring constant value, and in the end, that's all about saving energy and saving on the cost, and that will create value. And it turned out to be a great white paper, without being too much of a sales pitch, because that's often I think white papers are very much a sales pitch, and I don't think our white paper is. So
I truly feel that we touched on a blind spot here with our white paper, because I usually, and probably Jan as well, we get the question, what's my ROI when I start working with you guys? And usually it's not that tangible, because you pay a certain amount, and then we can detect a major leak in week 1, but it can also happen in year 10. So when will you win it back? That's always a big question. But I think when we touch upon adding value to your asset while using or because of using our services, I think that's something that was never touched upon. And to be fair, I think the white paper also covers it, that there will be value increase of your real estate if you have more data. And the fact that we both serve quality data, it makes the value even better. So ROI is not just about what you get in return of the investment, but also what will be added to your portfolio once you invest. And I think that part is not always known.
Correct. And that's something I believe the market is developing towards, because what you now see with if they evaluate an asset, they have to look back, basically, yeah. And that's based on all kinds of values, contracts, leases, that kind of stuff. And now slowly, smart building data is becoming increasingly important. So there will be a tipping point that finally someone dares to say, okay, and it will in the beginning be an appendix, like, okay, we cannot say actually the added value is a certain amount, but we believe that with certain solutions, your building performs better, you have more data, that is value, but we cannot prove it based on the regulations that are in place for valuation. But that will slowly come. Indeed, what you say, we already touched upon it in the white paper. And the more people read it, the more people are aware, the faster it will go with looking at the actual performance and value of data.
Yeah, I think that return on investment is the huge question that everybody's getting right now, wanting a very concrete answer to a complex scenario over a long term. So yeah, a couple of things. One of the things that you guys talked about in the white paper was this idea of preparation for regulations. So the concept of, which I kind of love, should regulations come, being actually maybe already there, and or maybe doing that. Can you explain a little bit what you mean about preparing for regulations or already investing in ESG before the regulations come, and some of the benefits or why that makes sense?
Yeah, I think this is regarding like regulations towards, again, actual data performance of buildings. That is, in my opinion, slowly turning. That regulation is going more and more towards the actual performance. You already saw it a bit with the change of the how energy certificates are made. That the actual performance is slowly getting in there. And this way, by already investing now, of course, you're already ready for it when the time comes, when the regulations change. And yeah, we always know that regulations are most of the times behind on how the world works. So yeah,
I think from my perspective on water, you've now recently seen for electricity, you have this consumption ceiling, we call it in the Dutch way, energieplafond. That means that if you go over that certain boundary, you will have to pay extra if you want to use extra electricity or gas or whatever. If they would put that regulation on water, suddenly everyone starts moving. So there's definitely a benefit in acting now before that happens, because right now you can actually take all the leaks in the building, you can have it monitored, so you actually save already on your consumption. So by the time the regulation hits, you're good. If you only wait for the regulations to come, then you will have to act fast. You will not have results on day one, so you will be kind of with your back against the wall, knowing that your initial first year or 2 years will be like expensive ones still, and then you will seek the benefits of it. But if you act now, no matter what the regulations will be that are being fired upon our markets, you'll be prepared. And I think that's the main message that we have, is that there will be changes. It's just that how do you prepare for them? as said, water scarcity is real, even in the Netherlands. You will see it this summer again. We will get on the regular 8 o'clock news, you will see, hey, tomorrow's going to be a hot day. Please don't water your plants. It's something we do with drinking water, and so it only makes sense that we get warned about it. But there will be also, maybe even this summer already, a moment where certain parts of Netherlands, even Netherlands, will say, you know what, today there's no more water from the tap, tomorrow it will be available again. And that's the part that we need to avoid, and therefore we need to save. And in order to save, we need to start putting in some hardware or software in place to monitor data. So preparation is key here, I think.
Do either of you, it occurs to me that we have so much, we have the ability to have so much insight into all of this, like what your two amazing companies do. And it doesn't seem very 2023 to be flying blind a little bit right now. I have a girlfriend in Copenhagen, and their energy is split by time. So if she runs her dishwasher at 4 a.m, she pays a lot less than if she runs it after dinner, like all the rest of us probably do. And so it's in her best interest, and she feels clever, and it's better for the water systems and that kind of thing. Is ESG, is it this intention, but still a little bit vague one, of this kind of flying blind scenario of trying to do better, but not knowing exactly how to maneuver doing better? I don't have a concrete question, but I just...
Okay, I was searching for the question. Yeah, indeed.
Yeah.
Now, I'm gonna try to give answer on the non-question.
Yeah.
Now, I think it's still the ESG domain, and actually taking action is still like pioneering, because there are a lot of solutions in place. There's also a lot of data, but like data alone is nothing. You need to be able to analyze it, and then sometimes the conclusion is I cannot do anything. And with our solutions, you also get concrete advice, or actually we already take action. But it's not only that. And if I look at our solution, we can optimize a building based on settings, but there can still be potential failure of equipment. So you get also partly insight in that, and we can help you with that. But then a building is perfectly performing based on settings, but then still you want to take improvements to actually save even more energy. And then it's like, okay, based on the data, you can say, okay, I can replace boilers for heat pumps, or it makes sense to place solar panels. But if I place solar panels, my profile doesn't match with what you generate with what the building consumes. So it's logic to also place a battery, because otherwise I'll put energy back on the grid on moments that already a lot of energy is put back on the grid. So that's also not sustainable. So it's basically what I'm trying to say. It's a lot of pioneering, but you need help, partners to say, okay, gather the data, have experts in, then make the right decision based on data, small steps. And then after you did an actual physical improvement, then look again for the next one. And we have several of these trajectories with clients or upcoming clients, where we say, okay, we monitor, we give advice, we do improvement, and we take step by step, because we do that with installers, with a collective to actually do the improvement. So I hope this was kind of an answer on your question. But
Not a question.
I think from our side, it's quite similar. As you said, you need to improve apart from just monitoring the data. So yes, it starts with that, having insights in your building, but then you need to do some things. And we also offer like water saving shower heads, water saving toilet adjustments, or a regular toilet flushes around 6 to 9 liters per flush, and you can actually bring that down easily to 3 or less, and basically saving you 66% on the go on just your toilets. But there's not many people doing it because they don't prioritize it, and I think that's where it's all about. There's so many things to be done regarding ESG, and I know from my own experience being in touch with a lot of property management companies, they have their heads filled up until there. Like, they have so many tasks to perform on a daily basis. Like, it's not just water, electricity, and gas. They also need to, I don't know, maintain the building. They need to maintain the outside of the building. They need to create value. They need to report. There's so many things they need to be aware of, but at the same time, they also cannot focus on one because everything is a priority, basically. So what we try, and I think Jan is practically doing the same, is that we're trying to guide our clients by the hand through this whole water maze. And of course, we first start with a signature before we even do anything, but there will be monitoring, and then we will guide them through the monitoring data. What is happening? What is going on? What does it mean? And then once they get the grips of understanding water, here we go again, understanding water, then we can go into the subject of saving and strategy. But then it will be, they will not be on their own. We will help them. And I think that's the part that many of, ESG related companies miss, is that they simply have data, throw it over the fence, like, here's your data, and have fun with it. And that's what I think we don't do. We really gather it with a purpose. And the purpose is not giving you data. The purpose is becoming more water efficient, or understanding water, as we would say now. But yeah.
I love that, and we talk about that a lot too within the collective. That it's not about the data; it's what you do with it. And I think you guys are such good examples of how the collective can work together. Do you guys want to talk about some of the other things that you're doing together, or beyond this, or is that a spoiler for another down the road?
Yeah, well, basically, what else are we doing together? Now, yeah, we have a lot of joint clients, and we refer to each other quite a lot. We are about to, from our side, first client that actually says, okay, Spectral, you arrange everything for us, and Smartvatten will be a subcontractor, looking forward to broaden that partnership, because you often see that water is like, people don't care about it because it's cheap, and that's a shame. It should be the total resource usage that should be available. So that was it from my side. Raymond, anything to add?
No, I think it's fair enough. I think for us, most of this is coming from these partnerships, that the client really wants it like that, and they want us to be an integral part of the platform of Spectral. And then, of course, if Spectral is the one now being in charge, simply pushing us forward, that's of course the best thing possible. But I think for us, what is the most important about this whole partnership is that we still do what we're good at. So we will still provide Spectral's clients with support, with active water efficiency strategy, because I don't think Jan really wants to take over that part.
No, I want to collect the data. Yeah, indeed. So, no, you guys are an expert there. So
exactly. I think that's the most beautiful thing about partnerships, is that we really don't want it to become like a reseller model, because then it will be again about just the data. We're fine with having the data in Spectral, because that's really beneficial for both Jan and their clients. But at the same time, we shouldn't lose water efficiency as a goal. and therefore we want to keep in touch with any client that Spectral has.
Love that. And I love what you guys are doing. You guys have talked about facility managers. I think one of the things that we've seen is kind of this huge evolution for what a facility manager does. You know, it used to be they were amazing with the BMS system and the making the building work, and now they have to be technical and data analytics and forecasting and changing different spaces to function different ways. So I think maybe this is a great bridge to helping the evolution happen. And we have, you guys do an amazing work of not just, like you said, throwing the data at people and saying, good luck.
I think we're trying to make everyone's lives easy as well. So if you combine certain services in one platform, then this facility manager you're talking about only needs to log on to one system. It doesn't need to have an eye on Spectral and one eye on Smartvatten and one eye on Vattenfall for, I don't know, solar panels or whatever. So having it all in one place is also making their lives easier. And therefore, they are able to do more in the same amount of time. So it's not just about data. It's all about caring for each other a bit as well in this ecosystem that is all about working. So
it is. All right. Well, I loved this talk. Is there anything that we missed that's you guys wanted to shout to the world?
Not from my side.
no, and I think in general, if people are reading the white paper and they have any feedback on it or further questions, I think in general we're all both open for having a follow-up.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Oh, that's so great. Well, thank you both for being here. We're really excited to share the white paper out. We will, like I said, include the link with the video. I think you guys are an amazing example of how different companies can work together and be part of a platinum building within the Smart Building Collective, or just helping people get started. If you read the white paper and you want to talk and, like they said, just do a little bit of experiment, get addicted to data like Jan, or make your efficiencies like Raymond, then they can help you do that. This doesn't need to be a all-in scenario. You can really fall in love with smart buildings slowly or quickly, whatever you like. Thank you guys.
You sounded a bit like Bob Ross there.
Right?
Yeah, just a little bit of Van Dyke Brown.
Oh, I missed that show. I wish.
Give that tree a friend.
No, thank you guys for being here. Thank you for
Thank you.
showing what we can do together, and hopefully in ESG we can do a lot fast and inspire others to do the same. So thank you so much.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.